of course, I've hooked all my fittings here. I got a couple elbows, and this is kind of how I got it set up here. My sender unit is going to be like this. Use some thread sealant, folks. And this is my original gauge, and should hook right up there. I'll hook all this up once I get in the engine, but you can do this when you get the engine in your vehicle, or if it's in the vehicle, you can still get in here and do this. And basically, I just kind of got a T set up there so I can hook my wire up to my digital gauge here. And basically, I got a plug there, the original plug that should connect right up fairly nicely. Now here is my old plug wire, and of course I cut it, but I will solder it back and put some shrink heat tape on it. But you can see that goes on there. I can clip that on there, no problem. So this is basically how I'm setting it up, and we'll look at it now in the vehicle. Alright, so kind of ignore the mess there. I'm kind of rebuilding this engine. Well, pretty much you see some other videos, you'll know what I'm doing. But with this oil sending unit that I'm going to be hooking up in this new gauge here, I wanted to show you how my setup is. Now if you want to do this, my advice is go ahead, antifreeze out and everything, and unbolt this whole housing here. It's easy to do. You got 4 bolts, and they're 10mm bolts. and just, it's really hard to get your hands up in there and do any of this stuff, so this is what I suggest that you do. But anyway, there's the 10mm bolts that go in there, and here is basically my setup. Now the green wire, once I get situated here, the green wire that you see right there, that's the wire I made that I'm putting on the sender unit. That's going to be the gauge. This is the original wire that goes to the switch on the inside. I cut that off earlier. I was trying to figure out a way to get this in there. And I wanted to make sure the switch would go on. The plug would go onto the switch, but it would not. So it does now. But I just want to show you how I'm setting this up. This goes back on the block. Let me get in the sunlight here for you guys. I got kind of bolts on the block like this. And the 2 units on the bottom here. If I get up in here, and I don't know, hopefully this sun is not going to mess up my plan here to show you guys how I'm doing this. It bolts on kind of like that. And I painted the motor mount when I had it off to show you how close it is. It's pretty close, but you can see it's above the frame and all that. So, and easy access to my wires down there. I can just unplug those and plug them back in. And that's all we got to do. So that's how I'm setting that up for that right there. Let me give you a nice look at all the connectors here. I'm about to kind of sit down here, hold this steady for you. How I kind of got it set up there. There's a male there going into the housing unit. Then there's a female T, I guess you can say. Then the sender unit itself, you have to go out and get this little adapter right here. Just take the sender unit to the parts store and they'll match that up. Then I had to use an elbow to actually have enough room here to put my original switch on there, because if you don't, it goes straight out. It will hit the side of this block. Well, the motor mount right here. It'll hit this bracket right here. It'll go right up against it. So that's how I'm setting that up. So there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and hook all this up and finish up this engine, and hopefully we'll have a digital readout also along with my regular pressure switch inside the vehicle. Alright, just as I thought I was finished, I had to make one more adjustment. I want to show you my final adjustment. This will go in just about like this, and as you can see there where the switch is, everything will be easy to get to unplug, easy access and everything. And what I did, I left everything pretty much the way I wanted it, but the only thing I did here is I turned this switch here. I had it actually pointing down. I turned it up a little higher like that, and that way you can get into it and have better access. So that is my final fix, and now we'll put it back on and hopefully finish up here. Alright everyone, so we got the engine in. It's running great and everything, although sometimes in the dash I still get an error for no communication bus B. But if I tap on the dash, it does go away. So there's something in the cluster that I'm going to have to unplug and replug in. a little bit later. But anyway, good news is, check this out. I finally got this thing working, and I don't know if you can see down in there, but my, the sender units and all that is still hooked up down there. I don't think you can see it, but anyway, I got a ground wire here going out to the fender. This is how I'm going to eventually hook it up. We'll run a ground somewhere, then we'll run the hot wire here, probably inside somewhere to a switched outlet or something, and I just pulled that loose. All right, let's put that back together. This setup here is just to show you how it's going to be hooked up, or how you should hook it up. And the hot wire, like I said, for now I just got it to my battery, but I'll run it inside a little bit later. And the green wire, of course, is the sending unit. Now, earlier I had a green wire going down and I couldn't get this thing to work right. Turned out the wire that it was going down there had a break in it, so I had to pull the old wire back out of there and run a new green one down there, and I used a continuity tester to make sure this time that the wire was good. And now we are working pretty good there. So I don't know how well you can see this. It's kind of just a temporary setup there for you guys. Maybe if I set it up over here, and I'll start it in a minute, maybe you can get an idea. There we go. All right, so let me go in here and we'll start this up. I still don't have my tailpipe on. It's a little loud, but not terribly loud. And the beauty about this setup is I still have my oil pressure switch here connected, and also on the outside you can see we have our digital readout working. Yay! So pretty cool. That might be a good thumbnail, I don't know, right about there. So just make sure you run the green wire down to the sender. Make sure your wire is good, and everything else is pretty much self-explanatory. But where I'm going to put this, I was going to get a cover, or one of those little things to set it in. I'm actually going to set it right here, and we'll cut a little round hole right about here. That's really the only place I have on the dash. Everything else is pretty much taken up. And I figure if it's over here, it's, I can look down and see it, and it'll be great. So we're going to eventually stick that there. I may come back with another video clip and show you it connected and working in that spot right about there. So yeah, I'm pretty happy about this. At idle, it's pretty warm, holding about 38 pounds of oil pressure, and I have a Millings high volume oil pump in the engine, so pretty cool. I just got this cloth here kind of holding it in place. Alright, so let me go ahead and get this installed, and we'll come back and wrap this video up. Alright, on with installing it. Basically, like I said, I'm going to stick it right here. I already got my hole cut out. This piece here will screw on the back, it'll hold it in, and to cut the hole I just used something like this. I believe that's 2 inches, but you want to make sure before you drill your final hole, because it'll cut right in that plastic like butter. And I had to take that little piece there off, 4 bolts, just to kind of be able to get my hand up here like that. Let's get in here and adjust that, and you can see I can slide that all the way in. It's nice and flush, so perfect. Looks pretty daggone good, I think. And boom, just like that, it's in. It's wired. Got a ground wire there. I got the hot wire going back up under there to a, I'm not sure what wire it is. I just turned the key on and off. Used my ohms meter until I found the power wire, and as soon as I turn the key on, it comes on. I may try to tie it into a dimmer light switch. I got to figure out where all the dimmer wires are. But you can see, boom, comes right on. I think it might be pretty cool if I can dim it at night with the lights, but I'll worry about that later. And basically I ran, of course you don't have to take your fender off, but I was in another project and I drilled a small tiny hole there. I'll put some silicone around it, keep it from leaking, and basically the wire will go up, and I'll zip tie it and all that. So it's all done. We're going to start it up here, give you a nice look at it. Get key in here. And by the way, this is HOTSYSTEM. Yeah, I guess they make all kind of smoke gauge series. You can find these on eBay. You know, I got this for like 20 bucks or something. So, all right, let's put the key on. Keys on. Drop it down in gear. Hardly changes at all. Of course it's cold, but when it warms up, I'll be able to read my oil pressure now. So pretty nice. And like I said, I got my regular gauge there that will let me verify if everything is okay. So each one of these are hooked up independently, which is what I wanted to do, and that was my goal. So there you go. All right, so hopefully this will help you out a little bit. All right, guys, so I'm gonna wrap this video up. If you like this video, say hello and give me a thumbs up and all that good stuff. And until my next video, guys, I will see you later.